So my friends, in this video we're looking at some of the best TVs that we've seen in 2020. We'll cover the good points, the bad points, and we'll even bring in some TVs that we think just didn't cut the mustard and ones that you ought to just damn right avoid. Now, the majority of the TVs that we've had this year we've purchased ourselves so we can be completely independent. We've never been asked to say anything good or bad about a TV, and we never will. So therefore every single word that we say is what we genuinely believe. The majority of the TVs that we've purchased and we still own. There are some Samsung TVs that we've had on loan from independent sources, but as you'll see from the reviews, there's been some good and, well, some not so good. Sit back and enjoy, guys. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So the first TV that we're looking at in this video is the Samsung Q90T or the Q95T. Effectively, for those of you that are not sure about the differences between the two, the difference is on the Q90T, you don't get the One Connect box. So all of the connections go into the back of the TV. Whereas on the Q95T, you do get the One Connect box. Now, one of the things I love about the Q90T or the Q95T is the fact that the stand allows for a soundbar to go underneath. And I've got a Sonos Beam and a Sonos Arc, and for me that was absolutely perfect. I love the setup, all of the easy to follow instructions. It just is brilliant to set up. For those of you that are looking at getting a smart TV that haven't maybe upgraded for a few years, this will be an absolute breeze. But what you're also getting is an absolute incredible picture. I'm a huge fan of the Tizen software, which runs on the Amazon Smart range of TVs this year. On the Q90T, it ran absolutely faultlessly, so smooth, so quick, no glitches at all. It's very comprehensive as well. You can do so much with it in terms of customizing your picture and all of your settings. You also get two controllers. You get the ugly one, the one which is a little bit boxy looking on the right there, and you also get the sleeker, well-designed, much more comfortable to use one on the left. And I think that that's just a nice option. You don't get the really expensive one, unfortunately, but it's pretty good anyway. This is the picture quality that you get, and I was absolutely blown away with it. It's a QLED TV, so you get incredible brightness, and it's just a joy to watch. This TV is perfect in brighter rooms. I'm going to be purchasing a TV very soon for my brightest room in the house, and this is likely to be the one that I purchase because I've just got such fond memories of when I had this for a few weeks. It is just an incredibly bright TV, and with its anti-reflective coating and things like that, it's perfect for bright rooms. One of the things which I looked at was the comparison between this and the OLEDs, and the reflections and the lack of reflections on this TV was a definite advantage. So if you are in a bright room at all or opposite a window, you may want to consider getting a TV something like this. Another thing that absolutely blew me away were the black levels that were capable on this TV. If you look at these two pictures here, the left-hand TV is the LG CX OLED, which has perfect blacks, and on the right you've got this Samsung Q90T, and it was pretty close. It was amazing how close this got. Obviously, the CX does give better blacks, but you can already see it on this picture, those reflections of the lights that I've got in the background, which don't appear on the Samsung. So again, that was another feature. As we've already mentioned the LG CX, let's concentrate now on that, because again, without doubt, one of my favourite TVs of the year. This is a TV that I bought and I still own now. It is what I would call my evening TV. The incredible picture is insane, and anyone that sat in a darkish room at night time watching this image, you know, I sit there sometimes just watching rubbish but with a smile on my face because the picture is that good. It does incredible Dolby Vision. One thing that I didn't mention with the Samsung TV is that they don't support Dolby Vision. I've not really had an issue with that, but it only supports HDR, and it's got some very good quality HDR, but it doesn't support Dolby Vision. LG, however, does. It is an amazing TV for black levels, and in terms of upscaling, absolutely anything you put into this TV looks incredible. It doesn't matter whether you're just watching normal TV like this, or if you're watching HDR content or 4K imagery, it's an absolute pleasure of a TV to watch. It is amazing. But what I do have to say is that it does matter that you're in a darker room and you haven't got much ambient light. The other thing this TV I think does better than the Samsung is its gaming potential. You do have 4 HDMI ports, all with 2.1. Now there's been a lot of talk over the course of the year about the new consoles coming out and whether the lower rate of gigabytes per second will make a difference. Now clearly I don't think it does, because I think the Sony PlayStation 5 is running on about 32 gigabytes per second, whereas this TV supports 40 gigabytes per second, but not the original 48 gigabytes per second which some of the other TVs do. But for me it was not noticeable when I just threw my PS4 at it, and gaming was insanely good. Again, incredible pictures, no problems at all. Now, unfortunately, I've not been lucky enough to have got my pre-order come through on the PS5, so I can't give an update on that, but there's plenty on YouTube, and I think that this TV, coupled with the PS5, is just a beautiful combination, and it's something which anyone will be very, very happy with. Now, let me just come on to that thing which I do think is a massive point of view. Now, bear in mind I still own this TV, and I've also got the LG BX as well, but this is daytime viewing in one of the rooms in my house where this TV now sits. This is like almost like my nighttime room, but you can see I've got a window directly opposite, there's a blind there, and it's very, very noticeable. And if you're watching this in even more daylight, well then you have to close the blind, and it's, you know, it is a big issue. This is incredibly reflective, this TV. Another thing to point out with the LG range this year is it is a little bit more tricky to put a soundbar in front of them if you're keeping it on the stand. It's quite a slope, and so therefore you have to have the soundbar right sat in front, and on some soundbars, certainly the majority, they will come up higher than the actual TV. So that's just something to bear in mind. Other than that, the design is super stunning. It's incredible to look at. So that's the LG CX. I will touch on the LG BX because that's also been a TV, and just point out some of the differences in just a few moments. But next we're going to go back to Samsung and look at another one of theirs. One to avoid this year, in my opinion, is the Samsung Q60T. I found that the picture quality wasn't very good. I found the operating system was slow and clunky. It needed the faster processor, which it hasn't got, and overall it just left me feeling disappointed. Definitely worthwhile spending a bit more money and going for the Q80T. Okay, now we're talking about a very, very popular TV. This is the Sony XH90, or the X900H in the US. This is an absolute monster of a TV. It's incredibly priced at the moment as well, and I'll leave all links in the description of this video. But this is a TV that the majority of people will absolutely love. So one of the main things that attracted people to this TV straight away was that this was the Sony TV that had the HDMI 2.1. On the Sony OLED this year, the A8, they actually missed that off. And so in order to get the faster 4K 120Hz refresh rate, you needed to get this TV. And at the price point that it came in at originally, it was a very good price. That price actually has reduced by about 50% from when it came out, and all of those latest links will be in the description for you. But having those two HDMI 2.1 ports definitely makes this a future-proof TV, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're looking at buying a TV which will last them 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even longer, and so to get that at this price point is definitely an advantage. The other thing that people love is the Android software. Having the ability to install multiple applications from loads of different sources makes this very, very user-friendly, and the actual rest of the software on this TV is great too. The remote control, I think I referred to it as some type of wand when I did my review, but again, it's a really good remote control that's super simple to use. It's got everything that you need on there. This TV also did very well for customization. You can go in and change settings to your heart's content. I love doing this because I think it's down to personal choice, a lot of it. There isn't a right or a wrong setting, but it's down to whatever setting really floats your boat. And here you can go in and tweak to your heart's content. It does a great job of watching normal TV, and it deals with 4K content, HDR content really well also. Now, a number of people, if you're like me, will use different sound sources for their TV, and again, with this Sony, it works really well having a soundbar underneath it. You do have plenty of space to put whatever soundbar. One of the things I did say at the time of doing the review is that the legs are pretty wide on this TV. Now, that can be a little bit of an issue depending on what stand you're going to be putting it on, but it also makes it very handy if you've got a wide soundbar, which then slots straight underneath. So the design of this TV, I think, is really good. Now, another TV that I wanted to quickly mention to you was the Samsung TU8000. Now, this is a really good TV for people that are on a budget. I thought that it did an incredible job of handling pretty much everything that you threw at it. Bear in mind that this is just a standard 60 Hz panel, so therefore it's not going to do things like 120 Hz refresh rate or variable refresh rate or FreeSync, but in terms of just general, is it okay as an average TV for watching TV, 4K content and doing the occasional gaming? Well, this is definitely something that I think the majority of people would be happy with. So don't discount these cheaper TVs, because this certainly is one that's pretty good. There are a couple of LG ones around as well, but this is the one that I looked at this year, which I was really impressed with. One Samsung TV that I wasn't so impressed with though was the 8K Q700. Now this was, in my opinion, completely overpriced when it first came out. In fact, quite soon after it came out, they were actually giving away a Galaxy Z Flip with this TV, which brought it down to a very reasonable price of around about 11 or 1200 if you took into account the cost of the Flip. But other than that, it was a very average TV for the money. However, saying that, it still delivered a pretty good picture, and if you are only spending around £1,200 on it, then it's one to consider. Samsung, in my opinion, have really had an up and down year with TVs. Some hits and some misses, as we've already discussed. But this was another one which really surprised me for a positive reason. This is what I would say would be the minimum TV that you should buy if you're interested in a really good TV this year. The Samsung Q90T. I thought that Samsung absolutely smashed it out the park with terms of design, in features like the central stand was great. We've already talked about sound bars. I love the cable management of their TVs. This one also had HDMI 2.1, so it was future-proof for gaming, and I thought it just looked really good. It wasn't necessarily the most expensive in terms of its design, in terms of the stand being all metal or anything. The bottom plate is, but the actual arm isn't. But overall, I thought it looked brilliant. Great for viewing angles as well, and it delivered incredibly good picture. Now, at the time of doing this video, which is the end of November 2020, this TV is exceptionally popular, and a lot of the UK sources have certainly sold out with the 55-inch and the 65-inch because they are really, really competitively priced. I will leave some links in the description so that you can check them out for yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up a bargain if this is the TV for you. But if you're wanting a TV that does a really good job of delivering pretty much great content no matter what source you're throwing at it, well then this is going to be something for you to consider, and it's very, very affordable. So don't discount this. The Q80T is definitely one that I would bear in mind myself. Now, my biggest TV of the year and my biggest disappointment TV of the year was the Q900TS. This was the 75-inch version. It was absolutely stunning to look at. It's an 8K TV. It costs a stupid amount of money, something like 5,000 or 6,000 quid at the moment. And unfortunately, I had an issue with it where there was a mark right in the middle. I had it replaced, and the same mark appeared in a different place. So I can't really comment too much about this TV other than that I was really, really excited. Look at that incredible picture when I first turned it on, but not long after that it developed issues. So unfortunately, the Q900TS I can't give my overwhelming support for, other than the fact that I wanted it to be so good. Look at those bezels, they're just incredible. But yes, maybe next year I'll try looking at the newer version in 2021. So at the end of this video, I will point out a few others which I think are great, but I've not actually had physically in my studio to film this year, which hopefully I will put right next year. But this, again, the LG BX OLED is a brilliant TV. And I think that for many people, this might be the TV that they end up choosing, because in terms of affordability and in terms of what you get in overall quality, you're getting exceptional value. Now, the design of the TV is almost identical to the CX. There is a slightly different stand, and again, we have some issues which I'll come on to in a second with the stand. Here you just get two HDMI 4K at 120 Hz inputs, and one of those is your audio return channel as well, but that's not a problem because most people will just have one console, and as long as it's supporting that newer format, well then great. This has the magic remote from LG, which again I absolutely love. It doesn't look particularly brilliant, but in terms of function it's amazing. I'm not a great fan of the stand on the LGs, and if I was most people, I would probably put it on a wall because I think it looks even better on a wall. The stand, as you can see, if you're having a soundbar, well then it does get in the way, and even when you put the soundbar right in front, and bear in mind this is a Sonos Beam, so it's the smallest type of soundbar that you get, you do still get that issue. So other than that, this is beautiful to look at. You do get the same issue with reflections that you get on the CX, but again, if this is in a darker room or you're watching TV mostly at night, well, it's not going to be an issue for you. Just don't put it opposite a window is what I would say. So pretty much every single thing positive that I said about the CX, you can just say ditto for the BX. It really is that good a TV. There is some differences with the processor. You get the faster processor on the CX, so that is something which may be an issue with the newer consoles. I've not had my PS5 yet, so I can't actually comment on that, but again, if anyone has in the comments, let us know. But I wouldn't have thought it's going to make that much of a difference. Certainly in terms of the overall operation of the TV, it did feel a little bit slower comparing it to the CX, but I'm just nitpicking, and I probably wouldn't have noticed too much had I not been having them side by side when I did my CX versus BX, which again, if you want to check that video out, it's got absolutely everything in there. But in terms of the picture quality here, for instance, I'm in a darker room, I'm playing on Gran Turismo, and it is just stunning. It is just beautiful. You know, there is nothing better really than an OLED in a dark room. It does look absolutely amazing. So what I would say is that if you are in the market for a new TV this year, the LG BX is absolutely stunning. If you're wanting an OLED TV but you're wanting to keep the price as low as possible, don't worry that you're going to be getting an inferior product, because this is still amazing. It's a very, very good TV. It has loads of the features that the CX does, and it's only missing a few. So don't worry that you're buying the cheaper one, which is going to be a problem, because it's not. Some of the other TVs that I thought I'd mention that I've not seen this year is the LG Nano cell range this year. Particularly some of those ones have been very affordable and very good value. The LG GX OLED, the gallery design OLED, I've not had that in the studio this year, but again, it's an incredible TV and looks brilliant, but it is quite expensive, as is the Panasonic HZ2000 range. This is the most expensive OLEDs that are on the market at the moment, and they do deliver an amazing picture though, as does the Sony A9. So these are other TVs that you ought to research if you're in the market, but some of them are quite expensive. So guys, that's it. That's my overall review of the TVs that we've looked at this year, the good, the bad, and the somewhat indifferent. I hope that has been useful for you, and if you are in the market to purchase a TV, well then check out some of the links in the description, because they will be the very latest prices available to you. Thanks so much for watching my reviews this year, and I look forward to giving you a load more TV reviews in 2021. Have a great Christmas, guys, and enjoy the new year.